You having a holly jolly Christmas, my guy?
Yeah, I would say I am. So far, so good. It's almost Christmas. By the time I put this out, it will be on Christmas, probably. I'll probably end up putting this out on Christmas, so... Christmas. I like how the juxtapose between you and me. It's like, I'm just... classic me or whatever, and then you're sitting over there and just like you got all the Christmas spirit over there.
I'm in the Christmas onesie, Christmas hat, and I got onion in the Christmas thing.
Yeah, and even
I also got the
even
little red
the
reindeer
background
in
with
back.
the lights and everything.
Then if I move, you can see
The very bright deer.
my two classic deer. Boy, this outfit looks stupid now that I see myself in it on camera. Holy cow. Oh no!
Oh no, Onion, no! He's alright.
Christ almighty, this podcast is chaos.
When is it not? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, with it being the end of the year, I was like, we kind of talked about, like, especially, like, the Game Awards a couple weeks ago. It's like, what is our, like, games of the years? But it got me thinking, too, about, well, first off, I guess I should do an intro, but just to continue my point, is that, like, what are some of, like, the favorite things that you did throughout the year? But before we get to that, I was like, hello, and welcome to another episode of It Never Ends, the Christmas edition, I guess. Sure.
Our special Christmas episode.
Sure. Even though, you know, it's going to be a normal episode, but, you know, we'll call it Christmas because that's how everyone does it, right?
Put it on Blu-ray. Tim Allen will be featured in this.
Yeah,
we'll just Photoshop him in.
We need to put
somewhere.
it on vinyl because that's apparently what everyone just does now. It's like you just put it on vinyl.
A movie on vinyl?
No,
they don't
like
make laser discs no more.
Like I mean, yeah, they should. How long do you think it will take for Laserdisc to come around again? Like, you know how vinyls are kind of coming around and people are saying
always.
Like cassettes
I don't think that's ever going to come around. VHS probably will. Betamax and Laserdisc, no, those are gone forever.
Yeah, I feel like
nobody has nostalgia for that shit.
Yeah, I feel like that was kind of just like this weird, obscure thing. So, I agree with you on that one. So, but yeah, going back to my point of what I was trying to say though was that I was like, so what was like I got to thinking, I was like, so what was some of my favorite things, like that maybe not so much like from the gaming perspective. I mean, they can be, but what I really thought of was just like is just like some of our like favorite things, whether it's be like shows, music, movies, that kind of stuff. I mean, we kind of did movies before, but anything like that. It's like,
I mean, you're gonna roll your eyes at my answer, but it's hanging out with you guys.
Yeah, no, it's good. I was like, honestly, I was like, recently, especially, it's just like us, like, kind of branching out from Magic. I think helped a good chunk too. It's like we're all into, like on Pokemon and like Flesh and Blood right now, and it's like it's good. It's a nice little break. It's like I like Magic, but it's like it's cool to be playing like different kinds of games.
Well, Magic will get really old if all we do is play Magic.
Well, I feel like we were also kind of just in that rut. We were just like, I don't know, we're just going to play the same things over and over. And it's like like just to change of pace. So that way when we go back to Magic, we're going to feel like, oh, yeah, this is like, it's all coming back and everything. It's going to be great. Because I think that was like my idea is like, oh, maybe let's try brand. I mean, obviously Pokemon was like the one where we did that mainly for because we wanted to play with David and Evan. But I thought it was cool to branch into a new game.
Agreed.
Yeah. I will say, I was like, one of the things that I was like super like I thought about, I was thinking about like the past year, and it's like, what were some of the what were some of the highlights that I had of the year? And it really came down to, it was like, it was really fucking cool to see like One Piece when Luffy actually activated Gear 5 in the anime.
Yeah.
That was so fucking good. It's like everything. I mean, obviously One Piece is can't miss right now, but it's like, Jesus Christ, that was so fucking cool.
It also had its live action series this year.
It's true.
It was a big year for One Piece. Yeah.
What do you think? I was like, I don't think I had a chance to ask you. What do you think about the remake that Netflix is doing?
I thought it was all right.
Well, did you heard about they're doing an anime remake, right?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
I think that's really dumb. I'm not sure why they're doing that.
I don't know.
So they're just remaking episodes of the original series?
I think so. It's not really. I mean, I'm not really sure
Like
what
updating?
it's all going to be. It's like, is it going to be? Is Oda going to tell it in a slightly different way now having like the perspective of where it went?
Mhm.
Maybe.
I mean, sure. I mean, I think it's interesting that I don't know, like that they're retelling the story of an anime when it's not even finished yet.
I know, but it's like,
Like if One Piece was a complete series and they were remaking it, updating the animation, that'd be one thing. The series is still going,
yeah,
and they're just retelling the like opening episodes again right after they retold it with the live action series. Still, it's just weird to me.
yeah, I agree with that. I also look at it just going just like with your perspective as well. It's like it'd be one thing if it was like almost ending or whatever, maybe if the manga ended, but I'm like, we're nowhere close to that.
No.
No way. So I don't know. And then I asked myself, I'm like, are we really gonna keep up with this? I don't know. I don't know. It'll just be interesting. I don't know where or when, how they'll take it, but it might be interesting to watch.
It's just I agree. It's interesting, but at the same, I'm just thinking like, so they're going to make the regular series. That's still going to obviously keep me going. They're going to keep making the live action stuff, and they're going to do this remake anime now. So we have 3 different instances of One Piece that are all going at the exact same time, and they're all telling the exact same story.
I mean,
I don't know. It just feels silly to me.
I mean, Netflix just saw like how the live action One Piece made like money, so they were just like, we see dollar signs. We're going to continue to do this.
I mean, the anime is right there. You can just watch the anime.
It's like you can watch it. It's like you can watch it on Crunchyroll. Watch all of it. It's fucking great. It might seem. I mean, it does feel very, very daunting at 1,000+ episodes. But trust me, you watch the first 100, you're gonna be invested. Not even. Like you watch like the
that
first.
That doesn't
50.
Sound very good, but it is.
You watch like the first 50, and it's like even the first 20 you might be really invested in. So do so. Yeah, it was a lot of years where I was just like I was catching up. I've been reading Jujutsu Kaisen a little bit, and I'm not super far into that. And I realized, wow, the anime is really fucking far behind the manga. Did not realize that. So there's that. I fucking love Jujutsu Kaisen though. I want to read the manga, but I also know the anime basically is like sort of finishing up the Shibuya incident. I don't know. I just saw like there was the fight between Itatori and Mahito, and I was just like, ooh, nice. That's like right towards the end.
Any like particular TV shows or like games that you've been playing this year that you've been playing for a long time?
I will say this. I was like, it's gonna feel weird saying this, this many years or whatever. But I've been playing a lot of Hearthstone this year, and actually really enjoying it. I think that since the last time I think about like
I remember that you fell off it for quite a while, so it's cool that you're getting back into it.
Yeah, I played it when Blizzard first it was like first made it or whatever. Like I played since beta, basically up until the Grand Tournament expansion, because that expansion was so bad. And the early Hearthstone was very. What's the best way to say that? What's the best way to say this? Probably it was so hard for new players to get into. It's like there was just so many cards, so many expansions and you were given so little to work with that I'm like, I don't know how new players come into this and could sit down and play a good deck and not feel like you're missing out on a ton or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you had no cards to work with that were even remotely good, and you just had to get your shit kicked in or play arena all the time, which is like their draft mode, which is fine. I don't know. Some people really like draft. I liked playing constructed because I actually like building decks. But I see the appeal of drafting. It's the same way with me in every card game. It's like, oh, there's this draft mode or whatever. You could do that. And I'm like, I like building with the decks. It's like, it's whenever card games kind of come about, it's like I understand the appeal of draft, and if you like that, that's cool and everything like that. But it's like to me, they make these cards for the purpose of being able to be utilized in a deck like archetype. Basically, it's like, so the fact is that like, oh, you should take these cards and use them as they are intended in that way. So it's like I always try and build decks that are kind of weird, and this is any card game really. It's like not just Hearthstone. It's like recently I've been trying to make Arcane Hunter work because they gave it this new weapon that's like whenever you attack you get an arcane shot, which is a 2-mana spell that deals 2 damage. So it's just like you just build up a bunch of arcane spells in your hand, buff them up, and then you just you throw everything face and win or lose in because you're like 3 damage off because you fucked up the 1 second. It's like, oops.
Yeah.
I've done that more than once in recent days, but it's fun. And that's why I was just like, it's whatever. But yeah, it's like Hearthstone, it was like in the early days was so hard for new players to get into, and I was like, I don't know how anyone does. So I was like, and then the Grand Tournament came around, and it was like there was one Paladin,
and that was a really bad update.
It was a really shit expansion, specifically because of this one card that anyone that played back in what was it, 2012? No, it wasn't that. Was it that late? Was it that early? No, it was like 2016. I was like, I don't think Hearthstone's 10 years old yet. It's like I think it was like in 2016 or 17 or something like that. I don't know. It was something around there, but it was like. It's a card called Mysterious Challenger. It was 6 mana, 6/6 Paladin minion that says when you play this, place one of every Paladin secret in your deck on like you get it into play. And that doesn't sound bad, but when you realize that Paladin secrets are summon a 2/1 that whenever you attack something, you redirect the attack to it, and then you like avenge, and it's just like it was a utterly gross combo that dominated the meta so much that it was so not fun to play against that it alienated me right there and then. I went, it's impossible to deal with this 6 mana card that was just played. It's literally impossible. And because there was just no tools for it. It was clear that the balancing didn't really do the job, and that was another reason I disliked playing early Hearthstone 2, is that at the start it was really good, and then as expansions kind of went on, it was like, holy shit, what the hell happened?
So they were able to bounce back from that then?
I mean, I didn't play for years or expansions after that, and then I got I get these urges to like go back to playing old games. Recently I was talking about how I felt like almost playing League of Legends again. Like just play like a couple games of League of Legends just to get it out of me. And so
you were there when I tried League for the first time.
It's true, I was.
Did not work out.
There's a learning curve, and it's really interesting because I was recently watching one of Spazzy's videos where he had his girlfriend play TFT, and she, with no concept of what TFT is or anything, or no knowledge about what it is, and watching her like just get overloaded with information. I'm like, oh yeah, this is a really like these are like League and TFT are just ridiculously like games that require just a ton of knowledge, to get into. So, but that was really interesting. But yeah, it was.
I mean, I thought TFT was quite a bit of fun when I got into it. It has changed a lot since I did so. But yeah, I don't know. I tried giving that another chance this year, and I've had some fun with it.
It's okay. I watched like some videos or whatever. It's like mainly just Spazzy because I'm less about the gameplay. I was like, I don't give a shit what's happening on this board, but he makes things fun, and that's why I like it.
Nice.
So it's like I don't know what's going on. He's just playing stuff. He's saying stuff. I don't know. He's having fun. That's all that matters, right? He's being the entertainer, the content creator, right? But yeah, getting back to it, my point or whatever, it was like it was like Hearthstone. Basically, it's like Ben. I think the main thing that with Hearthstone is that Ben Brode ended up stepping down. I love Ben Brode. He's a great personality. When it comes to balancing card games, or especially with Hearthstone, it didn't feel very good. He also never wanted to fix cards. He was under the mindset that we made these cards like this. One of the most problematic cards of early Hearthstone was Dr. Boom. It's a 7-mana 7/7 legendary that you summon 2 Boom bots, which are just 2 1/1s with Death Rattle. When they die, they deal 1 to 4 damage to a random enemy. So it's like, it doesn't sound that great, but it's like, it's such a board presence and just.
I mean, it doesn't sound that bad either.
No, it was one of those cards I remember when all the people were like, because that was like when I was big into Hearthstone or whatever. So I was thinking of what are the pro players saying about all the cards, like type thing. What do they think is going to be good? What's that they think is going to be bad? Type thing. And everyone gave Dr. Boom just a shit score, just utter garbage. And then people started playing with it and went, wow, this is like the strongest card in the game right now. And it's like, it was no joke. I think at the time it was because the 7/7 stat line wasn't very good, because there was it was a card called Big Game Hunter, where it's a 3-mana minion that's, you destroy a minion with 7 costs, with 7 attack or more. So you could just kill it with a 3-mana card and get a 4/2. But then you had the boom bots to deal with, which doesn't sound as bad, but it's like, it could deal like 8 damage to your face. I mean, there was the potential. So, and that was, I mean, granted, I'm just like, now I'm just walking encyclopedia for early Hearthstone. It's like, but yeah, there was another problem. It was like, early Hearthstone was very random. It was just total randomness was going crazy. But yeah, I was like, with the new directors and then kind of understanding as well. And I also feel like the introductions, I mean, during that time, like battle passes were becoming a thing, and they were said, instead of like daily quests we could all just funnel this into a battle pass, or a tavern pass is what they call it, and you just have it like that. And but as a result of that,
battle pass.
But as a result of that, like the income, the amount of gold people could make was a lot more and a lot faster, and they could throw on more rewards. So I was like, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, especially with how the game was. It was like, farming gold in that game was so fucking hard. It's like, yeah, it was a game that there was definitely like, this is a card game we want you to spend money on, and you weren't going to get all the cards unless you spend money on it. Now it's
that's a lot of online games, though. It's hard to really fault a live service for wanting you to funnel money into a game, because that's their entire purpose, basically.
But it was my I agree with you, but at the same time, it's like the whole thing about it was that if you didn't spend money, you were going to fall behind, and that was what made it felt bad.
And they were able to fix that?
I don't know. They changed some they changed some things. The gold income got a lot better, and then the core sets. I mean, they have a rotating standard set now, which helps, because then it's not like you just have all the cards in the game. Basically, I mean, you can there's the wild format, which you definitely can play. I don't know anyone who plays wild, but I was like, I'm good. I'll just stick with standard, because I'm like, there was a lot of sets I missed and stuff like that, and I don't really want to relive some old parts of the game sometimes, you know. So
yeah, I get you.
But yeah, they've done some good stuff. They've done some good stuff with it, and given some like really good legendaries as just in that core set, basically. So it was just like, oh, it wasn't just like, oh, you have to play these ones or whatever. You're always going to miss a few legendaries or whatever, because you didn't want to spend the money to get them or whatever. It's like, oh, you just start with them now. So that's good.
It is good, yeah.
It also feels like every deck in the current meta, like every class has a deck that's at least somewhat good. Obviously, there's always going to be top tier classes and stuff, but
there's more variation now than there used to be.
During the Grand Tournament days, it was Paladin, Hunter, and Control Warrior. That was it. Those were the 3 decks that everyone played. You faced one of those 3 decks, and that was it. There was nothing else.
Okay.
That's how bad it was. it was, and me being the mainly shaman player was very turned off by that.
Aw. I'm sorry.
No, but they've done good work on at least making the game better and not feeling as money grubbing as it was before. I say that, but now there's like hero skins or whatever for each of the classes, and I go, well, you don't have to buy them; just skins. All they do is for emotes and stuff like that. But you know, people.
You want skins. The skins
exactly.
are fun.
The skins are fun, exactly. So they just determined, oh, we don't need to make money off the cards anymore. We can make money off the cosmetics. And I'm in no way saying that Our Son's a perfect game. It definitely has its problems, but at least it feels like
it's being monetized better now.
Well,
yeah.
it's all in the game itself feels a lot better than it once did too. So that's good. And I enjoy it. And it was like, it's so weird saying that how many years later. I'm just like, fuck. I like card games. What can I say? It's weird though. I never really got into Magic Arena. I think it's because I play Magic with you guys. If I didn't have anyone to play with, I probably would play Magic Arena.
I feel bad for people that don't have a Magic play group because you got Magic Arena. But I knew a guy from work who didn't have a play group, and he had to go to like different card game stores in order to play like the actual card game with people. Mm-hmm. From what I hear, a lot of people that do that are kind of assholes.
It depends on where you're like.
It depends on.
It depends on location and the clientele and stuff.
There's a lot of variety at VC. I'm not trying to make a general statement,
no.
But that was at least his experience.
No, but reading just even going on like the EDH subreddit on Reddit, and it's like there are some horror stories I hear from there, and I just go, Jesus Christ! It's like you're just here to sit down and have fun and play some Magic, and then you get the one person. It's just like, we all have like $30 just like pre-con casual decks or whatever, and then the one person will come with like a CEDH deck and just wipe the floor. And I go, oh, that's not very fun now, is it?
Then you start playing regularly with these guys to be like, okay, we can have strong stuff, but let's not have any of that overpriced like fast mana. And then they'll still bring shit like Ancient Tomb or some ridiculous bullshit. It's like
bring a Jeweled Lotus. Someone that one person will just have a Black Lotus.
Guys, it's not that competitive.
It's not
Come
that
on.
good. Come on, guys. It's like a 7 at best.
It's like a 10 every single time.
Yeah, he's like, really? Because I just put it in this power calculator, and it's like an 11. I didn't think that was possible.
It's somehow so good that it broke the power calculator, and our decks are at like a 5, dude. You maybe want to tone it down.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've definitely heard some, I was just like, man, there's just sometimes that I just go like, it's whatever. Do you ever, this is really funny. Do you remember when we were at the card shop that we like to go to a lot?
I know exactly the story that you're going to tell, and I do remember this.
I don't want to say what the card shop is, although I'm pretty sure we've said it in the past. But it's like we sat down, we were all getting into Pokemon or whatever, and we were like we were going to see a movie. Yeah, we were going to go to see Godzilla.
That was the day that we went to go see Godzilla. Yeah. And we all sat down with our brand new Pokemon decks because we were pretty excited. We had just gotten into the card game at this point. And
this is guys also real fast. This is like it's at like 2:00 in the afternoon, or what was it, like 2:00 in the afternoon? We all met up at or whatever, and there's nobody. There is nobody in the store.
Like 2:00 in the afternoon in an empty store on a
Monday. Yeah.
And we were just there playing Pokemon, and the dudes next to us were just talking shit the entire time.
It was the one kid. The one kid sits the table next to us. Or whatever. We're minding our own business. We're playing it. We're still kind of like learning the game or whatever. So we're also like, figuring stuff out. And he's just like, and then like a couple of his friends come, and he's just like talking just mad shit, like not quietly or anything like that. Talking about how Pokemon is a a bad board or card game or whatever, and it's like how it was cool at one point or another, and now it's not cool, and it's like loud as hell, clear as day, and it's really funny because the friend that he was playing like Magic with was just saying, I was like, oh yeah, I thought the Pokemon card game's kind of interesting. Like he's trying to like kind of talk it up or whatever. Like maybe he's like, hey, maybe you should just stop, trying to give him hints of like, hey, maybe you should like maybe not say this like super loud for all of them to hear. We're over here,
especially when they're right.
Yeah, we're over especially in the corner, when they're not really giving a fuck, but like it's.
Especially when we were just sitting there in the corner. The entire time I was just thinking, do I say something?
I fuck no, I ain't. I was barely listening, and it was really funny. Like I was like, dude, I'm like a 30-year-old dude. I don't care what some fucking 14-year-old kid thinks about me.
Dude,
it was very.
We're just
funny,
we're just some guys in our 30s trying to have fun with card games. It's like whatever, dude. Who cares?
It's just. I was like, I like Magic as much as the next guy, but man, there are other card games out there that are
pretty
so
fun. Many other card games, yeah.
They're pretty fun. It's
aside from maybe Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I was like, I will say though, is growing up and you collect Pokemon cards, you never really got interested in playing the game. Now that we've actually played the game, it's actually kind of fun.
It is a lot of fun. We talked a lot of time about like how the Pokemon like card market works, about how like the pretty cards are more valuable and nobody actually plays the card game. I think that's great, and I think it should keep going that way, and I say that purely because it made the game so inexpensive to get into.
Cheap to get into. Like a good what is it? Like a meta deck to get into can only cost you like $30.
Mine, the deck that I paid for was, I think, less than $50, and it's like second best in the TCG league.
Yeah,
it's crazy, dude.
It's crazy to me to think that like, for a game, it's like, it's like they run for a thing that runs like tournaments or whatever as well with like prize money. You think that, it's just because, like you said, more people would rather collect the cool art than actually play the game. Which makes it so cheap, so that way, like, the base art doesn't really fucking matter to anyone. I'm okay with that. It's like, I don't need the pretty cards. So.
I just think it's so funny in a way, and it makes it so engaging to get into, because, like, I can make all these different decks, because when I want to make a deck, I don't need to, like, when we were playing Yu-Gi-Oh! For, like, a really good deck, you're spending, like, maybe a couple $100 per deck, and for Magic it could be over $1,000. It's like, I can just pay like $30 to $50 and get something really good. Sure, let's do that.
Yeah, I just made a Machamp deck the other day, and it was only $30, and I don't think it's that bad.
Nice. I bought the cards for a what's it called, the dumb butterfly thing. For only about 15. Butterfree. And I think it's really bad.
The dumb butterfly thing.
It was like from the first series of Pokemon. No one really remembers it, and nobody...
Hey, Ash didn't even remember because he never went back.
No, he didn't.
He never went back for Butterfree. Oh man, it's so great. The one Pokemon that Ash didn't love, Butterfree. He's like, I'm so happy to be gone with this piece of shit.
Ash caught so many fucking Pokemon and used none of them. He always just uses bitch ass Pikachu for everything.
And like Charizard or whatever. It's like, ugh.
It's like there's so many other Pokemon. You caught so many of them. I'm pretty sure he caught a Pidgey at one point.
He did.
Never saw that past the first couple episodes.
My favorite thing always about like the Pokemon anime is that Ash, because Ash was such a shit trainer, he never evolved his Pokemon really. Like, he had his Squirtle, Squirtle, Bulbasaur, and like Charmander. Because the Charizard, I guess he never caught the Charmander. He only caught the Charizard. But it's just like he never evolved Bulbasaur or Squirtle. Like they literally just stayed their base ones the entire time.
He's had that Pikachu for the entire fucking series.
Hey, but remember,
and it hasn't evolved yet.
But remember when he went in the first season or whatever, when he went to go fight Lieutenant Surge.
Yeah, no, I remember that. It's like, oh, you want to evolve into a Raichu, and then the Pikachu just makes a big fucking deal about it. It's like, why?
Because he wants to beat him without getting stronger. He wants to prove to him that he's already powerful enough.
Okay. And he can't just evolve later? Like, how much XP has that fucking Pikachu gotten since he's had it?
Well,
he's used absolutely nothing else.
It needs a Thunderstone to evolve.
Pikachu?
Yeah. To evolve into Raichu, you need a Thunderstone.
Okay. And he just never asked Pikachu again. It's like,
yeah.
Hey, you've been a Pikachu for God knows how long. I'm an old man in my 40s. I've been an old man in my 40s now, still going to Pokemon tournaments and shit. You maybe want to evolve too?
Nah.
Oh my god. I feel so bad for that kid's Pokemon, because since he never uses them, he's like catching them, and they stay in their eternal like small ball prison thing. I can get over the fact that people are putting Pokemon in these like small, like cramped ass balls where they just sleep and do nothing. But it's like, if you're gonna catch them, at least use them.
But remember when he caught the Krabby and it went back to Professor Oak and he dreamed that he ate him?
What the fuck? No,
yeah,
I don't remember that.
It was like later in the series or whatever. Like Ash, it was like he caught like a Krabby because Gary caught like a big ass Krabby or whatever, and he was just like, oh yeah, I can catch a Krabby too. So he caught it, and then it was like, because it was his 7th Pokemon, it like teleported back to Professor Oak, and then he just like. Instantly, he was just like, oh, and then like Brock or whoever was like telling him, it was like, oh yeah, because you already have 6 Pokemon or whatever, you can only have 6 at a time, so it just transfers back to Professor Oak. And then instantly, Ash thinks, oh my god, Professor Oak is gonna eat him. He's gonna make him into sushi, and he's gonna eat him. So he instantly calls Professor Oak, and it's like, hey, did you get Krabby?
What the fuck is wrong with this show?
Dude, season 1 was unhinged.
All of Pokemon is unhinged.
That's true.
Ash has been like less than 10 years old for 30 plus years at this point.
Yeah. It's like, 20,
then you have those
25 years or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Then you have these grown-ass adults that have been following him wherever he goes, being like, oh, we need his fucking Pikachu. Yeah.
fucking Team Rocket.
Nobody questions anything. It's like, oh yeah, they're so silly, they're so quirky. Let's not even acknowledge that they're following a fucking child around the entire world.
Can we also just point out that Meowth literally taught himself to talk? Like, he was a Pokemon that literally taught himself to speak like humans. Imagine, okay, that is, I think, the craziest thing. If ever Team Rocket wanted to like do something crazy or do something really cool for the world, and
they could make just a fortune,
dude. The talking Meowth or whatever is like, it's the greatest interpreter between Pokemon and people, because he literally talks to Pokemon throughout all the seasons basically, and literally translates them for Jesse or James or like Ash or whoever to literally get
he's
to
the
what
only
they're saying. He's the only interpreter that does that. He could make a killing off of his ability to do that. But no, he's rather chase after this fucking Pikachu and this stupid 10-year-old kid. Because they refuse to catch anything but an Ekings and a coughing.
And, hey, they caught a Wobbuffet.
Hey, there was yeah, what was it? Jesse accidentally caught a Wobbuffet, and then she later catches like wasn't there another Pokemon that she later catches? I forget, but it was and then like James gets like a Weeping Bell that wants to fucking eat him at all times.
I don't even understand, man. You know what the most disturbing part of that whole Meow thing is to me? It's okay. It's okay. Like, Pokemon are obviously smart enough to have thoughts and feelings of their own, but then Ash talking about like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna fucking eat my Krabby. It's like, so the grown-ups in this universe are complete. That just shows me that that's happened before, right? So the adults and people understand like, oh, these are creatures with thoughts, with feelings. They know what's going on around them, and they still eat them anyway.
Yeah.
And they still like make them beat each other up and then serve them up as food, regardless of whatever the fuck anybody else wants.
Look, don't think about it too much.
I am thinking about it too much.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, we gotta fucking chop up all the Krabbies and the Milky Moos or whatever that one Pokemon's called. Milk Tank or whatever. But no, as soon as we get to the conversation about chopping up and serving Pikachus and fucking coughings or some shit, nah, that's where we draw the line.
Yep, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
People are fighting giant piles of cum and giving them to children, and knocking their kids out the door, fighting. Oh yeah, go catch magical floating rocks and dragons, you little fuck.
Yeah,
I'm sure you won't get molested.
Look, back in the 90s, it was a lot simpler when they were first making this.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not many kids are going to conceive what I just came up with.
Exactly. Oh, man. That was something.
Hey, now that we're thinking of, like, weird cartoon shit, why is it that, okay, the end of Beauty and the Beast, like, the Beast turns into a man, right? He becomes a human again. But every single Disney promotional material and, like, sequel and holiday special and shit for that movie, he's just the Beast again, and they never explain it.
Well, yeah, but that's because Belle was just like, oh, but I want that freaky shit.
Yeah. I'm a furry, and I want giant furry cock.
She liked all the hair.
Yeah, sure, that's it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, man.
Another thing.
I mean, you see it.
And this relates to Christmas. This is the thing. I will never stop complaining about this. In all of the Christmas movies where Santa Claus is a viable thing, it's like the parents obviously are seeing presents under the tree that they did not buy, and yet they still are like, oh, there's no fucking Santa Claus. It makes no fucking sense. It's like, oh, so what do you think some weird homeless dudes are breaking into your house and just leaving wrapped up gifts and shit? It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I never understand either. It's like every Christmas movie that like Santa is a thing and it's just like they're totally okay with just waking up on the 25th on Christmas and just going like, oh, cool, there's presents under here. I don't know where these came from because we clearly didn't get them, but we're okay with it and don't think anything about it whatsoever. You bring up a good point that I've never thought about. That is weird.
The parents every single year, they're just freaking out. It's like, how do you get past our security system? You shouldn't be able to do this. We got this strange man coming into our house every night.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, it's like otherwise it's like the what was it? It's like the Santa Claus of like Tim Allen. It's like, oh yeah, my dad's Santa. It's like, what? I'll never get that.
It's like he becomes Santa. It's even more egregious in that movie because he knows there are presents under the tree that he's not fucking putting down. At the beginning of the movie, it's like, oh yeah, there are not that many fucking presents under there because Santa hasn't gotten there yet. So when he becomes Santa, puts on the suit, gets to the fucking North Pole, and is talking to elves, it's like, oh yeah, you can't do this to me. I have homeowner's insurance and a good attorney or whatever. It's like, I'm not Santa. This is all a dream. It's like, motherfucker.
He legitimately believed it was all a dream too. And then it didn't help the case where, he woke up in his own home the next day.
Oh yeah, this SC, it stands for Scott Calvin. The waitress at Denny's gave it to me.
Yeah, absolutely.
That explains everything.
That explains so much. Oh, man. God, you bring up a really good fucking point. I've never thought about it. Like that has never crossed my mind even once watching any Christmas movie ever.
Man, out of all like the crossover movies we've ever gotten, how come we didn't get a movie where Tim Allen's Santa Claus had a fist fight with Jim Carrey's Grinch?
Oh shit. Disney needs to make its own like fighting game, and then they're like for like a Christmas like promotion or whatever, they add Tim Allen's Santa Claus and then against the Grinch. Does Disney own the Grinch? I don't know if they do or not.
I don't think so. I think it'd be really...
They could cross over
it. Tim Allen's Santa Claus versus Tool Time Tim Allen.
The Home Improvement one.
They made a Home Improvement video game. Remember?
I know they did. They did do that. God damn, that's right. Oh shit, dude. Yeah, there was not like during the NES times. There was a game. There was a game for like every TV show, every like popular TV show. There was a video game for.
There was a game called Full House Tournament Fighter. Those days were what?
Was there really?
Yes, there was. Have you never heard of that?
No. What was it? Full House
Tournament Fighter.
Tournament Fighter.
It was a Mortal Kombat ripoff.
What the fuck?
For the
It's
NES.
fucking real.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think you say these things and you're just hoping that I'll just like say, it exists. Trust me. Just believe me.
It looks like a parody, but it's not.
You got that right.
Man, when is this game getting a remake?
So what?
When is this game getting a remake?
Never. I'm watching a video of gameplay footage right now. And it is a time.
Mm-hmm.
It looks so shitty.
It's a fighting game based off Full House. They obviously weren't going to put that many resources behind it.
I know, but it's like, man, you really just phoned it in. I like how in the background of like the San Francisco bridge that there's literally just like, there's just this dude or whatever getting filled up by two girls in bikinis. It's like, what the fuck?
What does this have to do with Full House?
Exactly.
Where's Mary Kate and Ashley and all this bullshit?
Yeah, exactly, right?
Yeah, that went off the rails real fucking quick. I'm sorry.
It was good though. I liked it a lot. One thing I was planning to bring it up at some point in this episode is that I want to talk about, because we talked about last week how Twitch allowed like artistic nudity in their thing or whatever, and have gone back on it hardcore since then.
Mm-hmm.
Because
I think they realized their mistake.
Well, it was that I think people were fucking slamming Twitch right out the gate for allowing it, and I see you're going, just like, you literally can't give them an inch. The more and more you keep letting them push, the more and more they're going to take, and it's not going to be long before there's just full on pornography on Twitch. And I think they had points to that. It's like, it's literally like, it's like It always comes back to the argument I always make. It's like Twitch needs to decide what it is. It really does. It's not just this.
Yeah.
It needs to understand that it's not just this everything stream. That it's like, if you can stream it, it's with under the certain guidelines that it can be that. And it's like, I think there are places for that. I mean, like, there's a bunch of different, like, I mean, YouTube streaming exists or whatever. Isn't TikTok has its own? Does TikTok have its own? Or I know Instagram has like its own streaming service as well for like kind of like IRL stuff.
You can stream on TikTok. I'm not sure why you would want to.
I know, but dude, it's really funny that just real fast. I was like, because YouTube has been giving me ads for TikTok to upload long form content onto TikTok, and it's like doing all these incentives to like, it's like upload your long-term content because they're this reason, and I couldn't remember the damn reasons if I even wanted to, but it was like, but I'm just sitting here going just like, but I thought TikTok's whole thing was that it's short form content. Why all of a sudden when you want me posting a half-hour video on TikTok, it's like, what? It makes no fucking sense. Also, why is this shown on YouTube? That was the thing that was the weirdest part to me.
I think they eventually want to graduate to becoming like a YouTube competitor, maybe?
I guess.
I don't even know.
I mean, I wouldn't doubt that that's TikTok's like long-term plan. I mean, considering that basically YouTube basically took the idea of the short TikTok videos and made them into YouTube Shorts.
Mm-hmm.
It's not all that crazy to think about that they're basically now like competing things. But at the same time, I sit here going just like, it's so weird to have a TikTok ad where it's like, hey, upload your long content onto TikTok or whatever for such and such reasons. And I'm like, but I'm literally on YouTube. I find this hard to believe that YouTube's like that YouTube had to approve that ad onto their site, mm-hmm. right? Like it's not like. So I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't know. It's not surprising to me that they would roll this back, and because they absolutely should.
Yeah.
It's like there are places for, for if you want to be naked. It's like, trust me, there are.
There are too many cam girl sites to count these days.
Exactly.
Can just.
It's really just that.
Take your pick.
It's really just that I'm not trying to like stigmatize women on Twitch or whatever, but it's like it just feels like mm-hmm. the people that are trying to do this mm-hmm. are just playing on the young boy horniness, basically. That Twitch.
No, they 100% are.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
It's just like oh, they see Twitch as this continually growing platform with younger audiences that are like just horny as fuck, basically, and it's just like. Why am I not a woman that a good-looking woman that's not just doing this and making a ton of money off it? Because I absolutely could. It's that whole idea, and it's like maybe Twitch should step in and say maybe we shouldn't allow this.
Can I take a second and call out a larger streamer for his bullshit opinion on this whole thing?
Sure, go for it.
Because I get Asmongold's a cool guy. He has a legacy, obviously, and a huge fan base. At the exact same time saying, oh, well, the new Twitch nudity, changes are a W because, Twitch has never been a safe place for minors, and it's like, so this isn't really a big deal. And it's like, all right, so young boys, you can say that this is an 18-plus stream all you fucking want because, I swear and shit. They're still going to stick around, obviously. They're here to see their content creators play their favorite games. Minecraft, Call of Duty, what have you. And there are some streamers that apply for that, 16-year-olds and under by, keeping things appropriate and playing, Minecraft and shit. But so to say that there's there's just no room for minors on Twitch, so these changes are a W is ridiculous. The Twitch app still advertises itself as 13 plus. I don't know. To advocate for Twitch to become partly a cam girl site is just not the way. There's no reason to be advocating for stuff like that. I don't know.
That is such a wild take. I can't, I'm dissecting it in my brain as I speak, and I go, what the fuck?
Let me see if I can't pull up the exact one.
I mean, I believe you. We don't really have to linger on this that much, but I sit here going just like, that is an insane take to have. I'm like, I get that he himself probably draws in a lot of older audiences. If I had to take a guess, it's probably why he says that. I mean, and like you're saying, it's like Asmongold's been on Twitch for who knows how long at this point, but it's like
hot take: Twitch isn't and has never been a safe space for underage people. Everyone fixates on boob streamers, but the reality is many Twitch streams cover topics and have conversations that would be widely inappropriate for minors to be involved in. Niche Twitch changers are a W. I mean, sort of fit.
Here's the thing: he's not necessarily wrong, but there's a lot wrong with that statement.
Yeah.
It's really what it comes down to. It's like, yes, like Twitch, like you'll have those streamers, like there are political streamers on stuff like that literally just watch whenever Congress or is in session or like the Supreme Court and going on and just talk politics. Like arguably that's not like something you would do for minors, but I oftentimes say to myself, I'm like, I don't think many minors are watching that stream. I couldn't imagine many are. You know? That type of thing, and it's like they're far from being like political, like what is it? Experts, basically. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just like it's somebody that probably has a decent understanding of politics in general, and then just kind of is interested and wants to continue like covering this kind of stuff, but does it on It's such a weird thing. And it's like, I mean, sure, you want to watch that, you go right ahead and watch that. That's fine. It's just like, but like you were saying, it's that every content creator has its own target audience, basically. It's like, so like political streamers, they'll obviously be like older people or whatever, probably like 18 plus, if not even more, because God forbid if I was interested in politics at 18. But it was like, so it's really interesting, and it's the same thing. It's like you get like old like Baldur's Gate. I think has that one's I think that one is considered an M rated game because of they have like sex scenes in there. I know you can turn them off or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like and other things, but like the same thing like that, and it's like, but like you're saying as well is like there are people who cater more towards a younger audience that like play like more child friendly things as well, like Minecraft and so on and so forth. So
and obviously like so this goes for basically anything. If a minor just wants to watch an 18 plus stream, there's really not a whole lot stopping them.
What's going to stop them? That says, oh yeah, this is an M-rated thing. If you're not 18, turn back around. And you know this 15-year-old kid that says, oh yeah, I'm not 18, I'm going to go back. Fuck no, they're going to say 18 plus. Hell yeah, I'm 18, baby.
How many kids these days play games like, you know, COD or Rainbow Six or whatever the fuck? It's like there are tons of them. And just because you say, oh, my stream is 18 plus, that doesn't mean they're going to leave.
Yeah.
They're going to stick around one way or another.
Yeah.
You get, and yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting just kind of going off this point. It's like it feels like, especially in years, I mean years leading up to this, if not even beyond that. But especially like maybe it's because I've grown up during this time, and I now only am noticing it because I'm now a grown up. But it was like I remember like I was like when I was younger, I was like my parents. I was like they. I mean, I've told the story of like what my parents thought like the rating system on like video games was, and they thought it was for difficulty, and it's like they didn't know. But at the same time, it's like I don't think they would have really cared either way, as long as I was like, I mean, maybe they would have thought about it a little more if they had known. But at the same time, it's like it feels like with the coming years, especially, and I don't know, maybe if this is just like the. I hesitate to say this, but it's like it's more like the Republican style. It's like, oh, we don't want our kids being taught about how Nazis were bad guys or whatever. I see that all the fucking. Have you seen that, by the way? Just real fast.
No.
Just a little tangent I want to go on or whatever. There are laws passed in multiple states across the United States that says that teachers have to have like all their lessons plans planned out before school year starts, so that and then given to the parents for approval. And there were parents that were vetoing certain things or whatever especially during like World War II, literally talking about how they shouldn't frame Nazis in a terrible light. And I sit here going, what the fuck is wrong with you people? Yeah, that's all I wanted to say there. So it's like it's stuff like that. It's like it seems like parents are becoming more conscientious of what their kids are watching and giving less, and like, because when I grew up, it was like my parents didn't care really what I did or watched, as long as I was just like didn't feel like a crazy person as I did it. I it's so funny to me. I was like the idea of what my parents and what my family thinks about me, and then if they saw who I truly am in a way at times, I think they would be very upset at who I was. I oftentimes say that.
That's really sad. I'm sorry.
It's kind of true though. It's and I think it comes from a lot of my family is older and is very kind of small town, kind of stuck in their own ways type thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying. I'm like they're good people. It's just, but I have a feeling that if I told them I watched like anime and loved anime and stuff like that, they go, "Who the fuck are you?" You know?
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's like that. It's that kind of idea.
My parents are kind of different in a way. They get that they know that I like that stuff, but it's like they're kind of content, not getting into it themselves. It's like, you do you.
Yeah.
What are you playing there, kiddo? Mario?
Yeah.
As I play Far Cry or some bullshit.
Yeah. That's kind of, I think, how my parents have kind of taken the approach. Is like, they know I like this kind of stuff or whatever, and they don't really care to get into it, nor really know much about it. Because they're like, hey, you're 30 years old at this point. We don't care what you do. You're an adult.
Yeah.
That type of thing. So, but it's just like, I don't know, it just feels like the idea of protecting kids has kind of been this thing that's been growing over the years and stuff like that. And I don't know if it's just because parents are taking, I don't know, I wouldn't say more of an interest, but it's like, it's parents saying that it's like, oh, we can't let our kids be corrupted basically by certain things. It's like, oh, we see like booby streamers on Twitch or whatever, and it's like now we instantly say, oh, that's the porn site now, like that type of thing. It's like, but no, that's only a small portion of what Twitch is. It's like there are many other communities that are like that as well. So I don't know. In the end, it's like Twitch just needs to put down their foot on this kind of stuff. It's like and figure out the identity of who they are. It's like, if you want to allow like IRL stuff or whatever, that's fine. It's basically now an ingrained part of what Twitch is. But at the same time, it's like you can't let these hot tub streamers or whatever does that even exist anymore? Do people still hot tub stream anymore?
They do. But
I'm sure.
I mean, what a lot of them are doing now is they'll cut it right below.
Oh yeah.
Right above their cleavage or whatever.
I mean, that was how this all came to be, right?
Naked.
It was that like you would be like, it was like at the top of the stream, but like you just didn't show what was below. Wasn't this how this all started?
It is.
So yeah, I mean, it's no surprise. It's like they're gonna, and it's the thing is like it's gonna continue to be like that, and it's like, oh, Twitch has clearly showed that they're okay with allowing this because they make money off it, whereas the people who actually care about the communities that they create on that platform will say, hey, no, we don't want this on here. We don't want this to be the next cam girl site or whatever and stuff. It's really what it comes down to. It's like, oftentimes people just, I oftentimes hear the conversation of like, oh, well, they're taking the booby streamers are taking away people from like my content or whatever and stuff like that. And I go, no, they were never going to watch the content to begin with. But
yeah,
but it's like, but
at the same time,
we
really want them. They're not taking content away from anybody. Obviously, the people watching this are. Fucking perverts, and they want to be watching horny shit. If they weren't here, they'd be going to a hub or a different cam girl site. The reality of the situation is, it's like, do we really want this stuff on Twitch? Is this the platform that Twitch wants to be? Rather than, oh, these are stealing viewers or whatever. And I think that's ultimately what kind of what it comes down to.
And it also comes down to what kind of site do people who make a living on Twitch want to do? It's like if I'm just some person that like makes a living off Twitch, just playing video games and hanging out with people in chat or whatever, and I see in this other corner over here that like it's like they're basically just horny streamers or whatever, and it's just like, and I'm sitting here going just like, I don't want that on the same place as this. It's like it shouldn't belong on here. It's like in the end, it's like as much as you can say like, oh, Twitch needs to figure out the identity, but at the same time, it's like the people on Twitch, like the streamers on Twitch, also need to feel like they're happy to being where they are, because it's not just like, oh, it's just filled with a bunch of like other like these kind of streamers, and then there's me type thing. Because it's like if Twitch continues to allow this kind of stuff, if Amazon allows this kind of stuff on Twitch, and it's just like, and they're going to continue to push and give, and every time that they push and they give, and then at some point we're just going to have full on like pornography on it, and then it's just like, I wouldn't want to be on Twitch. If
Me neither.
if there was full on pornography streams put behind the mature label and stuff like that, I would just get the fuck out. And I guarantee a lot of other streamers would.
Yeah.
So that's what it comes down to. It's like you gotta also make sure that the website itself,
the wider Twitch community, yeah,
in the larger community, is happy with where the community sits. It's like they're kind of just been okay to kind of turn a blind eye to, hot tub streamers or whatever, these things or whatever, because like you were saying, people will go there regardless because they're there for that.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's just like, but it's like, should we let them here is really what it comes down to. And look, I'm not trying to like, I think we've said this in the past, we're not trying to shame sex workers or anything like that. It's like there's all a place for them and everything like that. They have the right to make that, make that whatever. But it's like, maybe it just shouldn't be on Twitch. And I think that's where we can pretty much leave that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a lot more of a discussion than I thought it was going to be, honestly.
Yeah.
Something else I'm sure you saw that The Last of Us Online is officially canceled.
Yeah, I'm not really surprised.
We hadn't seen or like anything about that, and it was like, and I like to just point out the reasoning that seems like they're behind it is that Naughty Dog announced it because they didn't want to become a live service studio. Fair point. I wouldn't want them to be either.
I mean, sure, you can't just release a standard multiplayer, though, for, like... You're releasing a Last of Us 2 Remastered. You can't just attach that to it and say, yeah, we're not going to update it, sorry.
Yeah.
Like, I get the disappointment. I get people would be disappointed in that. At the exact same time, you could just say, oh, well, yeah, we want to keep making single-player stuff. There must have been something seriously wrong with it if they wanted to just drop it dead in the water like that. Because they've been doing that for, the past 3 or so years?
My guess...
They spent an egregious amount of time and money on this to just throw it out.
If I had to take a guess, it was... I think it was probably Sony saying, hey, we The Last of Us is a big thing for us and everything like that. We want to make this a live service game that we can continually make money off of, and then you can continue to support yourself off that. But I feel like Sony, in and of a nutshell, especially when they started this whole project, and that was obviously before they even had acquired Bungie at that time, didn't really understand what it takes to be a live service game. And I think that's ultimately what this comes down to, is that I don't think they understood just the amount of time, effort, and people that were going to be required to continue making a game. It's like you're saying, it's like, oh, you could just put this out as like a multiplayer and slap it on Last of Us Part 2. But I think they had greater ambitions for it, and then realized that, if we do this, Naughty Dog is just not going to become a live service, and they won't be able to make any other games going forward. So we'll just drop it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That also being said, can I come up with kind of a hot take here?
What up?
I don't want them to make The Last of Us 3. I want them to make either something completely new. I want them to make either maybe like a Jack and Daxter remake or reboot. Make fucking another Uncharted game. I don't care. I want them to back away from The Last of Us because that is all they've been doing
for so long,
for the past like 10 plus years now.
Yeah, I agree with you.
And I get it's a popular franchise or whatever, despite only having two entries.
Yeah, it's. I agree with you for one reason basically, and it's the reason that Naughty Dog, and it's not even necessarily Naughty Dog's fault. I mean, but it's like Sony has been literally cramming it down everyone's throat for a long time. It's like the first game came out, it was really good. I really loved the first game or whatever, but I was so turned off by Last of Us 2 that I still haven't like watched anyone play it or played it myself or anything like that, or I don't even know the damn story of it at this point because I don't care enough, because it's just like it was the same thing, like similar to when Disney acquired Star Wars. It was just like when they were making their own trilogy, it's just like it was just cramming it down the throat. Like it was just like Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars, Star Wars. And it's like it's the same thing with this one. It's like it's just Last of Us, Last of Us, Last of Us, and it's relentless. And that's why I was like, I didn't want to watch the HBO show. I'm sure it's fantastic. I just don't care to watch it because I'm so sick of The Last of Us.
Think about how many interpretations we have of just the first game. We have the original game, we have the remaster, we have the remake, and we have the TV show based off of it. That's the same story told 4 separate times.
Yeah.
It made me so. And then a little while later, they re-released the first game as a PC port. So it's technically 5. It's I get it. It was a groundbreaking game that people absolutely loved, but my God, have we had our fill on it. And now with The Last of Us Part 2, we're going to be getting a second season of the TV show, and we're getting this completely unnecessary Last of Us 2 remastered. I'm just thinking, because in the next couple years, it's weird to think about, but we probably will, like in the next 5 or so years, I'm thinking we're going to see like the PlayStation 6 reveal or whatever. Are we going to be getting a Last of Us Part 2 remake too? It seems so unnecessary to be spending so much time and resources on this one franchise. That, again, controversial take, isn't that good.
Like,
it's a great series. I'm not trying to shit talk it, but there are so many other games that are as good or better.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's 100%. I agree. It's the thing is like, I think The Last of Us can place a lot of its success on because they made such relatable characters, especially in the first game. It's like, it's like right off the bat, it's like literally Joel is like trying to save his daughter from like, you know, the zombie outbreak or whatever like that, and then like the one person just shoots the daughter, and it's like, it's a powerful moment that instantly like gets us on to like gets us right on to like is like, oh my God, it's like we instantly feel for Joel or whatever, because it's like, even though we probably don't, most people probably don't know the pain of losing like a daughter like that, especially at the young age, but like we can only imagine the heartbreak that he must feel, and it's just like in right there and then it solidifies his character as someone so relatable to us in a way. And it's like when Ellie comes around, it's like the same thing. It's a good story, and that's really what it comes down to. And it's like, it's a good story that helps set up Ellie and Joel. It was, and that was probably, I think, mostly the problem with Last of Us Part 2 for me, is that they killed Joel off almost instantly.
In a very...
And I heard that, and I said,
yeah.
I'm instantly not okay with that. And I think that when Naughty Dog probably made that initially, they knew people were either going to be, one, mad, and two, it was probably going to turn off a lot of people from the game. And I think it did.
It did. It absolutely did. I think it also didn't help. I'll let you go.
I oftentimes equivalent it to to like the Telltale's Walking Dead. Like imagine if in season 1 of the Walking Dead Telltale series that Clementine didn't kill Lee or whatever, or like basically Lee hadn't died in the first game, only in for season 2 for him to die within the first 5 minutes of the game. That's how I equivalent it to. I'm like, it would feel like shit. So anyway, you say what you were gonna say.
I also don't think it helps that. So Naughty Dog is a incredibly talented studio. It is filled with incredibly talented people. One of Sony's best, I'd say. They've released 2 games in 10 years. In more than 10 years. When I don't even remember when the first Last of Us game came out. I'm sorry, that's not okay. And their latest game is coming out next year, and it's a remaster of the game that came out almost 4 years ago. And now we're not gonna get another game for another 3, almost 4 years. God,
Last of Us is turning 10 next year.
And we've only gotten 2 entries in the entire series.
The first game was launched in... Oh, no, that was Last of Us Remastered. Oh, fuck, it is 10 years. It is. I was looking at the Last of Us Remastered, which is July 29th, 2014. The original game was June 14th, 2013. It's over 10 years old, and there's only 2 games.
I do not want any more fucking Last of Us. I want them to do something else, something different. And if God forbid they do make another Last of Us, don't have it take 5-6 years for it to release. I'm not trying to say, oh, well, devs need to hurry the fuck up. 2 games in 10 years is a lot for most developers.
And it's really interesting that, especially with the way with you saying that, it's like, I mean, you look at like a studio like Insomniac or whatever that's just pumping out games or whatever, and obviously, like, you know, the hack, right, that they had recently is just fucking, that's shitty as all hell.
It's completely devastating.
Yeah, that just sucks to no end, and that really stinks. But it's like, when you look at it, it's like Insomniac just put out so many games in like so little time. It feels like, and they're all incredible. So it's just like, you can't do that, Naughty Dog. Come on, man.
I mean, even Sony's other studios, like in the time that The Last of Us 2 released till now, they made they did remaster what was it, their original game, and they put out fucking I cannot believe I'm forgetting Horizon Forbidden West, and they put out a VR game.
Yeah,
it's like yeah, games take a long time, and I get like Naughty Dog is constantly trying to push and evolve their technology. Not every single game should be taking 5+ years to make, man. It just can't be that long. And all for one series 2 is what's really getting me. Yeah. And the fact that there's this $10 upgrade for existing owners of The Last of Us 2 next year to get the remastered version. Otherwise, you can pay $70 for Last of Us 2 remastered. Sorry, not sorry. It should be free. All of it should be free. I mean, put out.
I'm also just gonna say they just shouldn't make it, considering it's a game that's 2 years old.
Yeah,
it's like you can literally play it on the system you're selling it for.
The remaster made sense when it was for the PS4, because it's like, oh, you can't play PS3 games on the PS4. We got to remaster The Last of Us because we got so many more customers on the PS4. With this, it does nothing. It makes zero sense. The visual updates are completely non-existent. The roguelike mode, I'm sure, is going to be cool, but I don't think it's going to be as impactful, sorry not sorry, as the God of War one that they just put out. And the God of War one was free.
It's true. It's so interesting to see the juxtapose like that, like all these Sony studios have. It's like just pointing that out, and it's just like, yeah, it's like Sony Santa Monica made this like roguelike mode for God of War for free, and here's Last of Us, Naughty Dog just saying, oh yeah, we're gonna charge $70 or $10 upgrade or whatever, and I'm just going like, what the. For a game that doesn't need it. You could be spending this time that you're using on The Last of Us Part 2 remake to make another game that's not The Last of Us.
To make, or even just make Last of Us 3. Make anything that isn't a game that you put out 2 years ago. You spent so much time on this multiplayer mode to just throw it out at the last second. And and people are talking about, oh well, I'm so excited for the next Naughty Dog like single player game. Then realize that game might not come out for another 3 to 5 years at this point. You're going to be waiting a long ass time for that game.
It's kind of funny as well. It's like people talking there when the GTA 6 trailer came out. People were talking about how it's like, oh, how many like GTAs do I have left before I die? Because if it takes 12 to 15 years to make one, it's like, oh, I can quantify how many more GTA games I can do just based on like, you know, what I think I live or whatever. I could do the same thing for Naughty Dog games at this point.
You think we're ever going to get another Red Dead Redemption?
Fuck no. I don't know. I don't know. I don't. Red Dead's one of those series I never really got into, which is always funny because I was like, I thought I would like those kind of games. I just don't care. Last plea from us, Naughty Dog, is please just give up on The Last of Us Part 2 remake because it doesn't need to exist. Just work on something else, please.
I mean, they're obviously gonna release it because
I know they are.
They already spent X amount of time on it. They probably already have the copies in box ready to ship.
Yeah, probably, honestly. Probably, honestly.
God knows when their next actual game is going to come out, though.
Yeah.
Out of all their studios, Naughty Dog is, in my opinion, their weakest one, and that feels so weird to say.
I feel like I shouldn't say that, or I shouldn't agree with that, but absolutely, it is 100% true. It's so not right to say that, but at the same time, it's so true.
For such a talented studio that has put out some. Even the Last of Us games, we're not trying to talk shit about the Last of Us here. It's obviously a groundbreaking series that has achieved like amazing technical feats. At the same time, two games in over 10 years, man.
When you compare it to just about any other studio when it comes to like when it comes to Sony Studios, it's like Sony Santa Monica has put out multiple God of War games, put out multiple DLCs and stuff like that for those games and everything like that, and some, and then you look at Insomniac, who just seems to just chug out games like it's no end, and like great games to no end, and it's just, and then obviously Bungie is still working on Destiny or whatever, but they're constantly pumping out stuff for Destiny as well. So I mean, the list goes on.
Insomniac made 2 Spider-Man games in between the time it took them to make Last of Us 1 to Last of Us 2.
Yeah.
Like, think about that.
Yeah. So.
Just this gen, they made, I think like 3-4 games for the PlayStation. Apparently, like, if all goes well, apparently Wolverine is already on track to come out next year, which is upsetting almost.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm kind of glad Insomniac's not just, sticking with Spider-Man. It's like they could just keep constantly just make more Spider-Man games and they would all be great, honestly. But it's like, it's kind of cool that they're making other superhero movie or games. I almost said movies.
I mean, if the leaks are to be believed, apparently they want Insomniac to release a game every single year.
Yeah.
Which
yeah. It's wild. All right. I don't think we really talked about this when it came out a couple weeks ago, but I was like, so yeah, E3 is officially dead now. How does it make you feel?
What a surprise. I'm honestly indifferent to it. I get there are a lot of people that are like, oh, I wish I could have gone to E3 in my lifetime. It's like, if I want to go to a gaming convention, that's still a thing. Like, you can go to PAX or whatever. There's still going to be like...
still exists.
There's still going to be like major gaming events, obviously. It's like... I get that E3 was this big like cultural thing for the longest time now, but it hasn't been that for like the past 5-6 years almost.
It's like...
So it's like...
I remember turning on like, Twitch or whatever and streaming it like back in like like 2012 or whatever. It's like that whole week that they showed off things was like one of the coolest weeks that I ever like had, and I never went to any of them. But I just remember sitting in front of my computer, like me and my brother just sitting in front of the computer, literally watching release after release, them talking about it. And it was just so cool. We were so awestruck by everything, and it was like, but it's just like as time went on, they just didn't mess with anything or whatever, and it's just like it got to the point where it was like, and then it's like, oh, why are we spending money on E3 stages when we can just do it ourselves now, because we now know how to stream and it's not just this weird thing that we used to do before.
There is no point.
So now we're just gonna do it ourselves. So it's like, and then also it was just like, I feel like they just had their game plan was just not correct, but I don't know.
I think the death of E3 is kind of going hand in hand with the slow death of television, I think. Because it's like, how many people do you know, other than maybe like your parents, that still pay for like basic cable?
I was like, even my bosses who are like all like older people too, it's like they don't even pay for cable anymore. Like they bought like they now just like, I was like, I think my one boss has like a Roku or whatever. The other one just uses like Netflix and Amazon or whatever, just for his entertainment. And just
that's
uses
what my parent
and uses like an antenna for like the local channels.
Yeah, that's basically what my parents are doing now. It's just like, yeah, we're spending X number hundreds of dollars on cable. It's like, what the fuck for? We never use it for anything. We have all these streaming services. If we want to watch something, we'll just watch it on there.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Back in the day, E3 was more necessary because to find out like news about upcoming games, you didn't have a whole lot. Yeah, so like E3 was this big exciting thing where you got to see all the new games on TV, and they had this big like convention where you could come see all the new stuff. And as time went on, and as the internet became more normalized, and streaming services obviously became more relevant.
Yeah,
a lot of people just figured out, oh, we can just watch trailers on YouTube. We can do all this stuff now, and especially after COVID, basically every like major game company in the industry just pieced together, oh, well, we can just put it online ourselves. We don't need to spend all this money, plot out a venue and do all this extra work for no reason. Basically, we can just do our own thing.
I feel like when gaming, like the gaming industry realized that you could put demos on like Steam or something like that, or like it was possible just to like have people download demos on whatever system they were going to do or whatever, it was like the whole idea of the show floor became like irrelevant, because it's like, oh
yeah,
we could have more people playing the game and understand and having the game and being excited for the game by allowing the demo at home rather than just allowing it on the show floor where people would just then talk about it or whatever. One of my favorite like stories from E3 that I would have loved to been able to do is that when I don't remember if it was E3 or if it's like PAX or whatever, but I think this is a classic story. I mean, it's the story of how Darkest Dungeon really got off its feet or whatever. It was this crowd.
I don't think that was the E3. I think it was at PAX.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I'm pretty sure it was a PAX thing. But this story, it kind of goes hand in hand with the point I'm making. But it's like at the time they were this little booth in the corner that nobody really knew what it was or anything like that, and then people just started lining up to actually play the demo of the game. And then all of a sudden they had a line going out the door for people playing the game and people that wanted to back the game because they really enjoyed it. But it's that kind of thing. It's that people who went to E3 at that time in the early days before demos were really a thing that everyone could download. It was like being able to play something on the show floor and then telling everyone about it was the coolest thing. But then when they realized, I'm like, oh, we could just have more people playing this game by letting it available online rather than just on the show floor.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like, I think that was also a main part of it as well. And it was like, I think you're absolutely right though. It's like, at some point it's just the internet and the gaming culture in and of itself kind of just grew so big that in like reporting companies like like Kotaku and other things like that just became
Mm.
where people got news and so on. And it was just like they never tried to do anything crazy. And then the pandemic rolled around and they didn't know how to fucking do anything online.
And the gaming industry as a whole just kind of outgrew them.
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. So there was some good years there, E3, but
Mm.
you did your duty.
See ya.
Yeah, I was like, I don't think we ever talked about that when they announced that they were going away, but I was like,
Mm.
it's kind of, we've all kind of moved on at this point, but it's something. I almost think it was like, man, if E3 was half of what the last Game Awards was, with just like putting up like celebrities up there, it's like, man, I definitely would have hated it.
Man, I'm scared. That feels like slowly what the Game Awards is transitioning into.
Yeah, which is really
There's a
funny
lot-
because that's what Jeff originally got out of E3 for.
Mm-hmm. There's been a lot of pointless, celebrity shit happening at the Let's Get Game Awards, and I'm really hoping they fix that for next year.
That's why it's like I agree. I was like, I hope that they actually listen to the criticism that people had about the last Game Awards, because it's like everyone talks about how it's like, oh, we don't care about celebrities. We're not here for the celebrities. We're here for the games, and we're here for the awards and celebrating the games that we enjoyed playing throughout the year. It's like we can show new games and stuff like that. That's cool in between some of the awards, but at the same time, it's like we also have to let the awards, because we're as excited as the people who made them for them to have won. And I think if you take those words to heart, and then you understand that, it's like they're always gonna have that cringy sponsored moments or whatever. Like it's just part of it or whatever that's gonna happen. But it's like Kojima really doesn't need to be up there with Jordan Peele or anything else like that. It's like we don't need this. We don't need Matthew McConaughey coming out here going, all right. But it's like we don't need that. No one's here for that. Do you ever feel like that was more of a ploy to try and get a like TV deal though?
Kind of, and it's weird to me why they would want to be put on television.
Well, it's more general viewing.
I guess so. I think we kind of summed it up perfectly just a second ago, though. It's like television's kind of a dying format.
Yeah.
Not that many people watch basic cable anymore, so it's like, yeah, you might get some more like general viewers on there.
And I can't I can't imagine the target audience you're going for with the Game Awards is into cable that much either.
Yeah.
So. Yeah. There's just a few things I wanted to bring up, though. I was just like, oh, man. I remember the death of E3. I was just like, oh, yeah, we never really talked about that, did we?
E3 is just so forgettable. We forgot to talk about
exactly.
it dying.
We forgot all about it. It was so forgettable. I don't want to.
I can just imagine.
It's just
I can just imagine like
time.
Imagine in like next year's Game Awards, they do get it put up on television, and they have Will Smith up there or something. Just like some old people flipping through channels. It's like, oh yeah, there's that Phil Schmidt or whatever his name is, talking about them video games.
Exactly. I found it. I was at my parents' last night or whatever, because I go down to my parents' place every like Tuesdays and Thursdays for because I was taking my dogs to daycare or whatever. But it's like my mom was watching the season finale of The Voice, and all it was literally just like celebrities just going up there singing Christmas music. And I'm like, so when did they announce the winner? I'm like, oh, they've already announced the winner. I already know who won. And I started going, so why are you watching this? If you know who won, why are you watching? It's so funny that they announced the winner who won that season of The Voice before they even film it. It was a live event that they had already announced the winner to. What? TV makes no fucking sense.
I don't get it. All those singing shows I think are bullshit, but
yeah,
it's whatever.
You get your 15 minutes of fame. That's all that matters, right? God damn, we're at an hour and a half. What the fuck? How does this always happen? How does this continue to happen?
I don't know. It happens every single week, and I think it's because we always talk about dumb bullshit.
It's true. We get
the longest time.
We get on tangents or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So thank you for watching and listening this episode of It Never Ends.
Mm-hmm. Be sure to follow my co-host over there at Tom Cruise Can't Lose.
If you want to follow this weird-ass motherfucker over here, Tom Cruise Can't Lose is where it's at.
Exactly.
I'm going to stream again at some point eventually.
Yeah. So that was one thing, but I think we'll save it for the next episode, is like things we're looking forward to into the next year. So like stuff that either we have plans for or stuff that we're really excited for next year. Like we've kind of already done that with like video games, but I mean just more stuff that's not just video games. So
I mean, we have one more podcast before the new year. We have time to do that.
Exactly. That's why I said to myself, let's do it then. Because then I'll have to put that out on New Year's, so it'll all work out. See? Anyway, well, thank you all so much for watching this podcast, though, or listening to this podcast. Be sure to, subscribe to the podcast and everything like that. I'm still trying to meet my goal, which is not doing a whole lot for that for Extra Life. So if you are again feeling charitable in this giving time, it's like the link for Extra Life is down below and in the show details or anything like that, YouTube, whatever. So, but if not, no big deal. We will see y'all next time. Have a Merry Christmas.